Good morning. Today on Spotlight, a conversation with three Michigan State University academic experts affiliated with their Institute for Public Policy and Social Research. They'll give us insight into how the state of Michigan is measuring up on infrastructure, redistricting, education, and taxation in the midst of this global health pandemic. Our guests, Drs. Matthew Grossman, Catherine Strunk, and Jacqueline Gardner. It's Sunday, November the 21st, just a few days before Thanksgiving Day, my favorite day. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Dr. Grossman, Dr. Strunk, and Dr. Gardner, thank you so much for joining me today on Spotlight. I'm going to begin with you, Dr. Grossman. You're director of the program there at Michigan State University. We're going to get to redistricting and taxation and COVID and education in just a second, but I would be remiss if I didn't piggyback off of the fact that the President of the United States was just in Detroit at General Motors' new EV plant. He just got his infrastructure bill, bipartisan bill, through Congress.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Bravo.
The kind of conversations that take place around your kitchen table. Conversations as profound as they are ordinary. How am I going to get to work on time if I-75 is flooded again? How can I be sure my job at the auto plant is still going to be here a few years down the line? How can I afford to get my child a degree beyond high school if they don't start with the same opportunity? And more broadly, how do we emerge from this pandemic, not just with a little breathing room, but with a real fighting chance to get ahead? I want you to feel the way I feel, pride in what we can do when we're together as the United States of America. And it starts here in Detroit.
Is this infrastructure bill, which is a humongous amount of dollars and cents, is it going to be good for Michigan? And he keeps saying it will pay for itself. Will it really pay for itself in the eyes of the average taxpayer?
Well, there certainly will be a lot of money coming to Michigan, not just for roads and bridges, but also for water infrastructure and other parts of our infrastructure. And we know that it has been rated poorly in the past. So Michigan should certainly benefit directly. The Congressional Budget Office has said that the bill will not entirely pay for itself. It'll be about $250 billion behind over the 10-year period. So I don't have any reason to doubt their projections. So the infrastructure bill will be good for Michigan. That doesn't necessarily mean it will be good enough for Joe Biden to raise his approval ratings with the public, but we should see some direct benefit.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Grossman, I'll go back to you. You've been following this very, very closely. This Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission has come up with the maps. You've looked at these maps, you've examined them, and what's your analysis? Have they done a good job? Because they are catching flack from all sorts of sectors.
That's right. We have a very new process this year where the maps for congressional districts, state house, and state senate are being drawn by this independent commission that I've been fortunate to be working alongside for the last year. And they have produced the sort of final selections for all of those. We have polling data from the public, which says that even though there are some concerns about the commission, most people, the vast majority of people, expect the commission to draw better maps than the legislature did. And we agree with that assessment. They are going to be fairer maps than the ones that we had before. So in that sense, it will be a success. But that doesn't mean that we don't have some criticisms. We have a report out that has 160 pages of everything that you could want for how the commission maps apply the criteria that they're supposed to apply. And there are concerns across the board from just the basics. Do they have an equal number of people in each of those districts? It turns out the congressional maps would actually be below 40 for other states in terms of basic population equality. So there might be some things to fix there. As you know, the Voting Rights Act compliance strategy that the commission has been using is somewhat unusual in trying to make districts that are about 40% African-American voting age population rather than any districts that are above 50%. They went about changing that strategy for the maps for state house, but they did not make those same changes for the state senate. So we're advising them to look at the map submitted by Brittany Kellum, the Detroit commissioner, to see if they want to make the similar changes that they made to the state house maps to the state senate maps. So there's criticisms across the board, but we should expect better maps.
All right, very good. We'll get back to some questions on redistricting later in the program. Dr. Strunk, the pandemic, it has wreaked havoc in so many different ways on our society, but perhaps none more than what it may be doing in terms of education, especially K through 12. You've studied this. What impact do you see that this is having, and has it mainly been negative or positive or a mixture of both?
So I think it's important to think about a mixture of both in a lot of ways. And I don't want to detract from the fact that a lot of educators and families are saying that kids have learned a lot of resilience and a lot of facts about life in the last 20 months. That being said, what we can measure doesn't look good. So in Michigan, we've been able to measure using both M-STEP scores, which are the state standardized achievement tests offered in the spring of each year, meant to be an end of year snapshot. And also the legislature required last year benchmark assessments, which are more formative style assessments in both the fall and the spring of 20 and 21. What we see is that students are making progress, but at a much slower rate than we would normally expect in a given year. And in particular, there are more people at the kind of bottom end of that distribution, students who are really struggling, and there's more of them this year at the end of 2021 than there were in previous years.
A lot of money is coming in from the federal government in terms of the pandemic and trying to use a lot of that on education. Based upon what you see and what you've studied so far, are people putting that money to good use, or could it be better used in terms of how we are spending it for education in relief of this pandemic?
Well, the answer to that question, it can go both directions. So districts have started to use their COVID relief money, but they also just got awarded even more money. And we're talking in Michigan, billions of dollars for the state to go to different districts. And to evaluate whether or not districts are using it well, that's going to take some time. I do encourage districts to evaluate what they're doing with their money and if it's going well. And I also encourage districts to think about what their local needs are versus what other districts might be doing that seem like they're doing a good job, because each district is really unique and their needs may not be the same as a neighboring district. So when they're thinking about how they might spend this huge influx of money, they really need to think about what their needs are and what solutions will meet their needs.
All right, we need to get a little break in here. We will come right back with some more questions right after this. And welcome back to Spotlight. Dr. Strunk, we keep hearing that there's a teacher shortage. Is it just with the main teachers that are teaching every day, or is it also with the substitute teachers? Is it across the board? And is this directly pandemic related, or did we have a problem before and this is just exacerbated?
You asked about 20 questions in there. Let me see if I can back it
Sorry about that.
Yes, we are seeing a substantial teacher shortage across the state, both for teachers, but for substitute teachers, also for school staff, bus drivers, janitorial staff, lunch people, across the board. We're seeing staffing shortages everywhere. These are people who are on the front line. They're risking their health every day. They're risking kids' health every day. And they've been dealing with a lot for the last 20 months. They've been dealing with, a lot of political backlash, whichever way they're going. And so this has been a harder than usual job. And being an educator is already a very hard job. I think it's important to remember, though, that districts and teachers are trying their best. So I think there's been a lot of political backlash here about, why aren't teachers stepping up? Why aren't they doing more? They've been in the classrooms for 20 months doing what they can. working with kids in ways that they aren't used to. Kids are coming back from the pandemic year of 2021 with exceptional difficulties, right? They have been not in classrooms in some instances for a year. They're seeing greater socio-emotional needs from kids. We're seeing greater health needs from kids. We're seeing greater behavioral problems from kids. And so the job that they're doing every day is incredibly complicated. And I think that it's just critical that when we think about shortage, we think about solutions, not just naming the problem.
Sure. Dr. Gardner, we see at the local school board meetings fights over whether or not students should even wear masks. So politics is clearly in this system. You mentioned earlier about the boatload of money that's coming in from Washington to all these different school districts. How do you take politics out of this? Can you take politics? And when you have this much money at bay, everybody is going to have a plan or a work order for how that money should be spent.
You are absolutely right. With this influx of money, we are seeing lots of vendors, consultants, policymakers, politicians having their opinions about what money should be spent on and what is the most important thing to spend money on. And we urge districts to take a step back and take an internal look within their community, within their community stakeholders, to see what it is that they need and to try to mute the outside noise from the politics and the politicians. While they have a lot of input, it's really important to take an internal look at your own community, your own district, to see what it is you need, because an external stakeholder may not know what the district's most immediate needs are. And when you do take a look at your needs as a district, you should absolutely prioritize them. Think about what other initiatives are already occurring in the district and how new things might work alongside those. And also think about resources within the district other than financial resources that might be needed to implement something new from this ESSER money. One other thing that I would just think that's really important to mention is that these ESSER funds, they're a one-time funding opportunity as of right now, meaning they're unlikely to be renewed. So when districts are thinking about what they're going to spend their money on, it's important to think about what is a non-recurring cost that they can put into their district versus something that they will have to look for funding for in the future once the ESSER funding is spent or the timeline is up for spending it.
Sure. Dr. Grossman, I believe that your policy organization has received some grant money to consult the new independent redistricting commission. Have they been listening to you? And if they have indeed been listening to you, is it enough to keep them out of the lawsuits that are sure to come?
Well, no, on the second question, they have been told from the beginning to expect lawsuits. They've already been through several rounds, and there will be several more rounds to go. So nothing we can do can keep that fully out of the way. We did give them some practice. We actually practiced on the state of Ohio with the commissioners. So back in March and April, we had them draw some congressional districts for the state of Ohio just to get their feet wet and get some outside feedback in response to the sort of fake maps that they had drawn. So they at least had some experience once they got to drawing real districts in Michigan. We do think that helped. Does that mean that they are listening to all of our advice? No, not necessarily, but they're getting a lot of advice. And obviously people have some, just as Dr. Gardner said on the school boards, a lot of people have some different motives for advising the commission. They might want to draw maps that lean towards the Democrats or the Republicans, or that are better for a current incumbent. So some of that noise they really should tune out, and others are just one part of the process that they have to take into consideration.
Ed Sarpolis, who I'm sure you all know well, has been doing polling for a long time in redistricting in the Lansing area, said that this commission worked so hard at trying to deal with the political gerrymandering and the community of districts that they aired and they created racial gerrymandering. And he said when he looked at the initial maps, it looked like the state of Texas and all the controversy that we see there drawing maps as opposed to the state of Michigan. You think he's right?
The commission is following the advice of their lawyer and their consultant. But we have tried to point out that some of that advice is fairly idiosyncratic. So, for example, the commission is reliant on electoral data to say, are there candidates that African Americans would support that whites might not support? But the only data that they have is from general elections, and they have one primary, the gubernatorial election from 2018. So that's really not a lot to go on to know whether African American preferred candidates will win in primary elections in these districts that move from the Detroit area outward to the suburbs. And their consultant has said that any district with 40% African American should be able to elect a candidate of choice from African American voters. That may be true, but their maps are quite reliant on that being true. And that's why they've gotten a lot of flack from voters, especially in the Detroit area, for drawing a lot of districts that move outward from Detroit to the suburbs. Now, I will say compactness is one of their criteria. They do need to make districts that are somewhat compact, but it's like ranked 9th on the list of criteria. So maps really should not be judged by sort of do they look square, other than do they meet the definition of compactness? And if they don't look square, were they trying to achieve a higher ranked criteria in making them non-square? So I think the commission should be given a little bit of fair game for drawing some districts that may not look completely compact shapes if they were trying to achieve other purposes.
All right, we need to take another quick pause for the cause. We'll come right back with more questions to our experts. Stay with us. Dr. Gardner, you've been looking at all these numbers and all of these detailed studies. What do you hope people learn most by the information that Michigan State University, the Education Department, and your Policy Institute have put forward?
So I think there are a few quick things that I'm hoping everyone can take away from our paper. The first is, when you're thinking about spending these big ESSER funds, involve your community, involve your stakeholders, take an internal look. The second thing is to spend the money on things that are going to support the needs of your district. Do a needs assessment and figure out what that is. And finally, make sure you're evaluating your program so that you know what is and is not working. And keep in mind that success does not necessarily mean an increase in student achievement scores. We're thinking about meeting students' basic needs in a lot of situations.
Sure. Dr. Strunk, you've been paying great detailed attention to the impact of COVID-19 on our education system. What do you hope we have learned from all of this?
I hope we've learned how important schools are. So I think this is a no-brainer to a lot of us, but in some ways I think this has really accentuated the critical importance of K-12 education and public K-12 education in our communities and in our state. And so I hope that people take away that we need to be thinking a lot about how we support our system of public education, how we help them over the next, it's not just going to be 1 year, it's going to be 5, 6, 7 years of recovery time, so they can continue to help students accelerate their learning and kind of catch up to where they were.
Dr. Grossman, all of these incentives that we're seeing now, particularly for electric vehicles, battery plants, whether it's Ford, it's GM, it's Magna, is it going to all be worth it long term?
Well, consumer incentives have a pretty good track record. In other words, giving money directly to people to buy something like an electric car or a bike. The business development incentives don't have as good of a track record. When people look back, they find that most of those decisions about where to locate a factory or whether to expand it are not made on the basis of those tax credits. So some of that money is more likely to be wasted.
All right, we need to take one more break. We'll come right back with some final questions. Dr. Grossman, very quickly, last question on redistricting. There's some more meetings coming up, I think in Ann Arbor and in Lansing, in Detroit. People can still weigh in on these?
They can go directly to the commission website and say up or down. They can write particular comments about what communities of interest they want protected, or they can tell the commission to go back to the drawing board. So that's all up in the air, and this is the final 45 days before we're going to get those new maps.
As you compare Michigan to other states that have also had to deal with this pandemic in terms of education, have we done a better job or perhaps a worse job than other states? Have we been more or less innovative, or too early to tell?
So it's too early to tell, and there's been no study yet that I know of that has compared all the states to each other. It's a little early for that because the end of the year tests last year were so difficult to actually administer. When I'm looking at the literature from across all the different states, it looks like Michigan is about on par. We did just as not as well as other states did. Now the question is what we're going to do next. And it seems to me like that there's a big space for Michigan to really put forward a coherent plan about how we're going to help schools accelerate student learning and help them continue to grow in the future.
All right. Dr. Gardner, you get the final word. You're there in the College of Education. Are we making it more or less attractive for young students to go into the field of education and come out into the education field? Because I can't think of any profession that's more important in terms of our future as a country right now.
That is an excellent and very heavy question. I think that that's an area that we could grow in as a state, probably as a university as well. I think that we need to start thinking about how we can support teachers and educators to make the profession as appealing as it was many, many, many years ago now, because teachers are superheroes, rock stars, and we need good people who are passionate and motivated to support students of all backgrounds. So I do think that's an area that we can improve, but I think that the work that we are doing, the work that Dr. Strunk and her team are doing, and IPSR and Dr. Grossman, we're all trying to make that a reality, hopefully in the near future.
All right, Dr. Matthew Grossman, Dr. Catherine Strunk, and Dr. Jacqueline Gardner, thank you so much for joining us from Lansing, Michigan State University. And if you out there have great ideas for them as well as everyone else on how to spend all this boatload of money coming in from Washington, send us your ideas. We'd love to share them in an upcoming Spotlight. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the Spotlight. We hope you have a great week.